My name is Enrique Arce Martinez. I'm a second year transfer senior. I work at Undocumented Student Services and I'm the VP of Diversity and Inclusion on campus. Undocumented to me is simply that I lack papers or people lack papers. To me, being undocumented is a limit on my freedom. I view my future differently. I need to be aware and have a lot of social capital so that I can find jobs that won't require me to have like a social security and stuff. And I think a lot about how I can be deported. I mean, I have DACA currently, which stops me from being deported. But a lot of folks that are undocumented, like that is a ever-present fear in their lives. I feel like I left behind an identity. Don't really feel Mexican. I don't really know what it is to be Mexican. My parents told me a lot growing up of how beautiful Mexico is and was, and a lot of their memories in there. And that's their land. They want to return because they grew up there and they have a lot of love for it. But for me, um, I want to visit. And I low key feel like resentful of like people that can go and visit my homelands while I can't, because if I leave, I can't come back, or, it would be very difficult to come back. So, yeah, I am sad that I don't have like a good relationship with my culture. I think something I gained was maybe a lot of anxiety and depression from being in this country that rejects you every day. My main thing was just like it really had just gotten to me. Like I really don't understand how people can be so hateful towards others without even knowing them, and just simply for the lack of paperwork. I feel at the same time like I gained a new perspective that I would not have had otherwise if I had had citizenship somewhere else. Being undocumented has given me an appreciation for life. Every day that I'm not in a detention center is fucking victory for me. And it gives me like that perspective, and that helps me to keep going and understand like my own privileges, like because I am undocumented but I still have DACA and I am going to university. I have a lot of knowledge and experience that a lot of other folks don't. The good immigrant narrative, I think like that's a very damaging thing, as well as the dreamer narrative. Like everyone, when they push for like legislation that supports undocumented immigrants, they're always focusing on the so-called dreamers, which are people like me that came to the U.S. when they were very young and are trying to go to school, and we've been here for a very long time, and we've been like acculturated into this country. But that unfortunately like leaves out tens of millions of people that are also undocumented, like our parents, et cetera, people like that. And then the good immigrant narrative, like immigrants are supposed to be like exceptional, like when piece of shit Trump was like, oh, they don't bring our best or whatever. It's like this assumption that if someone migrates, they're supposed to be like a doctor, they're supposed to be like incredible, and immigrants just aren't allowed to be just like regular people or like flawed or boring people or whatever. And DACA too is very like arbitrary. It's very stupid. It's just a band-aid. Um, you get like temporary relief for like 2 or 3 years, and you get to work and stuff. You get to survive in this country legally, um, but it's you're just kept in this limbo. There's no people honestly think that there's like a pathway to citizenship involved with it, but like there's nothing. There's nothing. You just keep paying the government protection money. I don't know. I think that people don't really fully understand like what it feels like to be undocumented. Like the illegality of being is something that weighs heavily on all of us, and we all have our different ways of coping. And but it's always there, like every day, you still have that the tension in your body, and it never really leaves. I I have let my undocumentedness like radicalize me. For a lot of other folks, are more fearful and they just stay in the shadows or they try to assimilate and stuff. But for me, like being undocumented has enriched my college experience. Like again, like we said, because we are so underrepresented, like anything pretty much will be of a great benefit because we are not a community that is really talked about or researched or cared about, I guess. My least favorite thing is when you tell someone your story and they start to cry for you, and it's just like my eyes can't even like well up right now at this point. Like I don't even know what to do. Just like sometimes people like you have to like comfort them after, and it feels really weird because it's just like this is happening to me, like you know that, right? Just like another thing that really annoys me is like when people pity us, like like we're just some like puppy or something. That is really that is also very like dehumanizing in and of itself. Like we don't need pity. Pity is so useless, or like guilt and stuff. Like we don't need that. We need like anger and we need like action. Well, I'm really interested in social work and community organizing as well as farming. That's where I see like finding fulfilling work. At the farm, like a lot of students that go there kind of take it as like a hobby or just like, oh, I'm like a hippie. I like to mess in the dirt or whatever. But for me, you know, it's very different because I want to be involved in like land management, and I want to heal my relationship with the earth when all my undocumented family has been like exploited in agriculture and we've always been cheap expendable labor. So I want to flip that script, you know. I want to take that agency. You know, all people of color have a very negative relationship with agriculture and stuff for one reason or another. You know, black people had slavery, and then like myself and like a lot of like Asian communities, etc., have always been exploited in farm work. So a lot of folks have been like really alienated from that type of work, but it is such beautiful, loving work that it just really fills me with a lot, and it makes me really value being alive. I'm just in love with it, and I'm in love with the people that love it. Myself, I have always found more safety and visibility, but obviously for some folks it feels way more dangerous. Like I'm accustomed to it at this point, but I really feel that we need to be more unified in terms of like taking up space and like showing ourselves, because I'm very adamant that we have nothing to hide. You know, we have nothing to be ashamed about. So we're just simply existing. We're not like, our existence isn't violence, isn't like a crime in and of itself.